Welcome back. All right, so we're going to talk about the Metro Division now. Talked about the Atlantic already today, so I want to talk about the Metropolitan Division, which is being led by the Carolina Hurricanes, and their chances of staying there, I think, are pretty good. 34 games, they're 22-6-6 for 50 points. They're now 4 points clear of the New Jersey Devils, 7 clear of Pittsburgh, and having beaten Pittsburgh definitely helped them in that regard. Now, if you take out the overtime and shootout results and you just make it like old fashioned, no overtime games, they'd be 16, 6, and 12. 12 ties. But the 6 losses is what would get focused on, right? So their odds of making the playoffs, according to Money Puck, 99%. According to The Athletic, they're above 99%. And according to Hockey Reference, they're not quite as bullish on Carolina. They give them a 96% chance of making the playoffs. Against the East, they're 12-3-1, and against the West, they're 10-3-5. And I always think it's interesting looking at the relationship and the record of conference against conference, because you would think that Carolina would have an easier time with the East than the West. That would not be the case if you look at the overall results. They've won 10 out of 18 against the West and 12 out of 16 against the East. And they're not the only one in that situation either. Now, in October, they were 6-4. In November, 6-4-4. So November was an odd month in that they won more than they lost in regulation, but they won less than half of their games. This month has been far more, it's been far more dramatic and far more clear that they're a contending team. They're 10-0-1 in December. And at home, they're 10-3-1, and away from home, they're 12-3-5. So at home or on the road, they're very difficult to beat. They've got 3 regulation losses, both at home and on the road. This bodes well for them as we go through the season. Then you have the New Jersey Devils behind them. Now, for New Jersey, in 34 games, they're 22-10-2, 46 points. They're 19-10-5 if you take away overtime results. They have a 95.6% chance of making the playoffs, according to Money Puck, 97% chance, according to The Athletic, and 90.6% chance, according to Hockey Reference. So they have an excellent chance of making the playoffs, though I know there are New Jersey fans becoming nervous because of how they've played in the month of December. Against the East, they're 12-9-1. Against the West, 10-1-1. Fantastic record against the West for New Jersey. In October, they were 6-3. In November, 13-1. It's a great month. And December's been just as bad as that one was good, or at least close. 3-6-2 in the month of December. At home, they're 10-8-1, and away from home, they're 12-2-1. So they need more Western swings, I guess, and I don't know if they have any more left in their schedule. For the New Jersey Devils, I still think they make the playoffs. I think they pull through this. We'll see what happens. Pittsburgh's right there with them. 33 games, a 19-9-5 record, 43 points. If you take away the overtime results, they're 17-9-7. 74.9% chance of making the playoffs, according to Money Puck, and 97% chance on The Athletic, and 88% chance on Hockey Reference. So in this case, Money Puck's the one that's being the Grinch on this one, or Scrooge on this one for Pittsburgh and their fans. Not me. Nothing to do with me. Versus the East, they're 10-4-5. Versus the West, they're 9-5. So similar records against both, although against the East, they've won 10 out of 19. And against the West, they've won 9 out of 14. So that's where the 3-point games do make a difference, is that if you can get it to overtime, then it definitely helps your record. In October, they were 4-4-1. In November, 7-4-3. And so far in December, they are 8-1-1. So excellent month of December. It's left them in a much better spot. They're still 7 points back of Carolina. They are 3 points back of New Jersey, and they're tied with the New York Rangers. So this is all very tight in the Metro. They're 10-3-3 at home and 9-6-2 away from home. So Pittsburgh, solid home and road record. Then you get to the New York Rangers. 35 games for the Rangers, 19-11-5 record, 43 points. So same number of points as Pittsburgh, but they've played 2 more games. You take away overtime results, they're 16-11-8. 48.2% chance of them making the playoffs, according to Money Puck. 55% chance, according to The Athletic. And a 61.4% chance, according to Hockey Reference. So it's interesting to see how it goes up all the way across here. And Hockey Reference, when they do their 1,000 simulations, gives them a much better chance than does Money Puck. It's a 13% difference. I do think the Rangers should make it. I mean, they were a Final Four team last year. They should make the playoffs this year. But the East is going to be tough. There's going to be a pretty good team in this division that misses the playoffs. Washington might end up being that team. They're fifth in the division currently. 36 games, 19, 13, and 4 record for 42 points. So there are 4 points separating New Jersey, Pittsburgh, the Rangers, and Washington. This is a very close division. 87.7% chance of making the playoffs according to Money Puck, 60% according to The Athletic, and 59.5% chance according to Hockey Reference. So again, I think it's fun to look at that. I think it's fun to go over which models you trust more. It's entertaining to see, these 1,000 simulations, and here were the results. Now against the East, they're 8-1. Against the West, they're 11-5-3. So they've had more struggles against the East. Although this winning streak they've been on, they've had wins against teams from the East. So we'll see how it goes the rest of the way. In October, they were 5-4-1. In November, it was a rough month, 5-7-2. But December, 9-2-1. Really picks them up. At home, they're 11-5-1. Bit more of a struggle on the road. They're 8-3. But still, that's not bad. And if that home record holds up, they do have a very good chance of making the playoffs. Then you get to the Islanders, and this is a quality team that could miss the playoffs. 35 games, 19-14-2 record, 40 points. If you take away the overtime results, I didn't do that with the Capitals. Capitals 16-13-7, and New York Islanders 16-14-5 if you take away the overtime bit. 38.9% chance of making the playoffs according to Money Puck, so that's pretty good. And I say pretty good because, honestly, you've got 38.9, 48.2, 74.9, just Pittsburgh, Rangers, Islanders, one of them. We just know it won't be Philadelphia or Columbus. 21% chance of the Islanders making the playoffs according to The Athletic, and a 45.2% chance on Hockey Reference, which is the highest number on the board, and it doesn't necessarily bode well because it talks, you're getting into strength of schedule and all that fun stuff. But against the East, they're 10-8-1. Against the West, they're 9-6-1. The month of October, they were 5-4. November was a very good month for the Islanders. They were 10-5-0, and in December 4-5-2. At home, they're 10-6, and away from home, they are 9-8-2. So for the Islanders, it's been a pretty good run. But it is a run that may end up, being futile in the event that they end up sixth in this division, and they could end up with more points than a team that makes the playoffs in the West. I think we're going to have that conversation this year. Then you get to Philadelphia, 35 games, 11-17-7 record, 29 points. If you take away the overtime, they're 11-17-7. So anyways, 0.1% chance of them making the playoffs according to Money Puck, 1% or less chance from The Athletic, well, below 1%, and a 0.6% chance from Hockey Reference. So it sounds like Hockey Reference is bullish on them. Versus the East, they're 7-13-5. Versus the West, they're 4-4-2. They're 5-2-1 in the month of October. Gave them an idea that maybe they were going to be better, and they're not. In November, 3-8-4. December, 3-7-2. So 6-15-6 since the month of October. At home, they're 7-9-1, and away from home, they're 4-8-6. So Philadelphia at home, on the road, they're losing in both. And it's been a rough go. Columbus, though, does have it the worst in the division. 33 games, 10-21-2 record, 22 points, currently residing at the bottom of the power rankings board. And if you take away the overtime results, they're 7-21-5. So that makes it worse. 0% chance of them making the playoffs according to Money Puck. A less than 1% chance on The Athletic. They don't do zeros necessarily, so yeah. 0% chance as well on Hockey Reference. So overall, it's a miserable picture being painted for Columbus. Versus the East, they're 5-15-1. Versus the West, they're 5-6-1. In the month of October, they were 3-7. November, 4-5-2. And December, 3-9. At home, 5-12-2. And away from home, 3-8-2. So whatever the situation, whatever the venue, it has been a tough season thus far for Columbus. But hey, this is a fun division. 6 out of the 8 have a very realistic chance of making the playoffs. 5 of the 8 can. 6 of the 8 is too much. So you can't have a situation where there's 2 in the Atlantic that make it. But if you did make it where you could knock out number 3 in the Atlantic, I don't see any of these teams knocking out Tampa. So let me know which team you think misses the playoffs that's a pretty good team in the Metro, because there's going to be one. And again, I'm looking forward to the debates once we get into that second half of the season and it becomes clear that one really good team is going to miss the playoffs in the East. getting into that debate again about the whole West versus East thing. But at any rate, it's going to make for some very entertaining hockey, and we're going to be very fortunate to watch it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.